my name is SAHIRA with ISMAIL. My metric number is 820A1625. Firstly, now to present about introduction. Coronavirus illness named COVID-19 is one potentially fatal infection caused by the SARS. This virus was first identified at Wuhan, China in the month of December 2019. It is a virus can easily spread around and kill people. In the year 2019, the virus swiftly spread to other nations, and the situation was after the WHO labeled the virus as a pandemic. During pandemic, many people in Malaysia are being unemployed. Unemployment is a critical issue for all countries, especially developing countries with large population. Unemployment refers to a situation where a member of the labor force is without a job, but actively seeking for one. Besides that, Malaysia's unemployment rate has increased due to the impact of COVID-19 after the year 2020. During this pandemic, many companies have been instructed to shut down and cut off the number of employees working, as they will face difficulty in paying salaries to the number of workers. Furthermore, when the economic burden of the COVID-19 pandemic starts to reflect their end result, several organizations, particularly small enterprises, are starting to reduce wages. This negative impact is increasing year by year, especially among the unemployed.
My name is Navishya Gengarajan and my metric number is 820A1582. Today I am going to talk about healthcare. Health is a basic human right and the ability of people in developing their potential for the rest of their lives. A poor health can cause a huge impact towards the economy. A good healthcare is important to humans as it lessens the burden on families from spending on medical and so on. Without a good healthcare, people tend to show less progress in their workplace and end up getting fired or unemployed. We can see in the example of a child's health. When a family is healthy, both the mother and father can work peacefully and earn more money to feed their children. Whereas, if the family is not healthy, both the parents tend to worry more on their children and end up not focusing in their workplace. Therefore, having a healthy lifestyle is one of the important aspects in economic growth from the rising of unemployment.
Next, the economic activities that contribute to Malaysia's economic growth is manufacturing economy. The manufacturing sector in Malaysia is influenced by natural resources which is used as raw materials such as rubber, oil palm, timber and petroleum. All the products produced from raw materials will be exported overseas due to high demand. The manufacturing sector also provides many employment opportunities to locals and foreigners, so it can reduce the problem of unemployment.
For the next is tourism. The tourism industry is the largest and most profitable industry over the past few decades. The industry is able to generate hundreds of other industries that depend either directly or indirectly on it and can create millions of jobs and income distribution. It is important sector to increase the country income through the increasing number of tourists visiting. However, due to the pandemic COVID-19, the country's economic growth has dropped sharply. This can attribute to the factor of losing international entry point following the spread of the COVID-19 pandemic in Malaysia since the beginning 2020.
Hi everyone, my name is Kishan. The economic activity that I want to share is agriculture. Agriculture sector provides a livelihood of 89% of the world's population. Farming systems are frequently large, made up of several independent gathering, production, and post-harvest process. So rural household livelihoods can include a variety of activity in other key agriculture subsectors such as livestock, agroforestry, fishing, and aquaculture. In addition to farming, Malaysian agriculture sector accounts for around 8.4% of gross domestic product and employs 40.5% of the total labor force. The movement of control MCO caused some panic buying in Malaysia in daily. Cooking at home is become more popular as people spend more time in indoor. As a result, fresh food items are high demand at local markets and supermarkets. Similarly, the lockdown enforced to contain the coronavirus pandemic has affected labor supply and affected agriculture supply line as well. According to the Department of Statistics Malaysia, 52.6% of Malaysians were suffering in financial difficulty at the end of March 2020, with 21.9% of them losing their job in agriculture industry.
Crime rates. Crime rates is another impact of unemployment that causes during the COVID-19 pandemic. Crime rates have been committed by local citizens during the pandemic, such as crime violence, smuggling, prostitution, robbing, cybercrime, and alcoholism, which damages the family's reputation. Crime rates mostly involves people who are unemployed, as they tend to lose a source of income to survive. Therefore, people are forcing themselves to commit a crime to protect their family from being starved. When unemployment rate increases, the chances of earning money decreases, and it eventually ends up individual in committing crime to survive.
Okay, next I will explain about the impact of COVID-19 to the employment. The first impact for unemployment in Malaysia is individual effect. In Malaysia, is the high potential for mental healthy issue like get depression, anxiety, sleeping disorder, stress, success, and increase in alcoholism. The next one is being unemployed. Since COVID-19 pandemic has causes many workers with no income or salary to feed their family. In a situation like that, people are able to pay their house rent, trying hard to kill themselves, and also become homeless. To recover from mental and physical health, people should try to avoid unhealthy etiquette because it is the most effective to live a better life. Furthermore, people can go for a monthly counseling. Is also the best way to get a positive vibe and to keep thinking positively even when people have other problems. That's all from me. Thank you.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is BALQIS binti SHAIFUL AZAHAN and my matric number is A20A1707. The other impact of COVID-19 is rising unemployment. There were many sectors had to be closed in a long time and people have to stay in the house during movement control order, or we call it as MCO. All sectors had to be closed to prevent the spread of the virus in the community. According to Department of Statistics Malaysia, unemployment rose 48.8% from the previous year to 778.8 thousand people. There are many workers had to be laid off and become unemployed during the COVID-19, including new graduates.
One of the impact of COVID to the unemployment is change in wage and income. Millions of people have lost their jobs when the COVID virus spread over the world and into workplaces. Even if they continue to work, many workers must accept shorter hours or salary cutback in variety of industries, including corporate firms, retail and lodging, food services, and the textile and garment sector, which are heavily generated. Pay cuts are something negotiated in a collective agreement between employers and employers. The government that set the workplace for the private sector under the Movement Control Order MCO treatment of period is 60% for one location and another is 40% that requires the parties of work for both. Therefore, employers only get a basic salary and are unable to receive overtime pay. This reflects the effect of a larger job compensation among low-wage workers compared to high-wage workers, which increase the average number of workers that are still working. To overcome this problem, the government has introduced Program Subsidy Upah 3.0 per Merkasa Plus. The purpose of introducing this program is to help employees who are economically affected by the COVID-19 pandemic.
Economic policies implementation. Fiscal policy. Fiscal policy is defined as adjustment in government spending and taxation aimed at achieving macroeconomic goals such as high employment, price stability, and a high rate of economic growth. As we know, Malaysia is not an exception in the increase in unemployment during COVID-19. To overcome this situation, the Malaysian government should reduce tax rates to increase demand and in turn encourage economic growth. This is called expansionary fiscal policy. If the tax is lower, individuals can have money spent on investment. This condition will indeed boost demand, and these organizations will require additional staff to supply this demand. Another alternative to tax cuts is the government may stimulate the economy by raising government spending. For instance, by constructing an expressway or a key global development. With these job prospects, the pattern of economic progress will be extended. This will happen when populist policies such as lowering tax rates and increasing national spending are implemented. Finally, among the measures to overcome this situation is to increase the minimum wage. For example, people will be entitled to a decent salary. However, there is a negative effect if the salary increases sharply, which causes inflation also to increase.
Okay, the next part, I will explain about economy policies implementation based on the monetary policy. In early 2022, Malaysia recorded the first COVID-19 cases and the virus spread very quickly. When new cases start spreading, the government announced the Movement Control Order MCO. After a few months later, the virus started getting more dangerous and the government need to find other ways to introduce MCO 2.0 until the cases start reducing. And start from that, government also reintroduced orders like staying at home, whereas interstate traveling and social gathering are restricted. This is to make sure everyone stays safe from getting affected. Okay, the next one is from the government introduced the economy sector. They are only allowed to operate during the pandemic is manufacturing, construction, services, and distribution, as well as plantation. Based on the crisis, the Monetary Policy Committee MPC of Bank Negara Malaysia (BNM) decided to maintain low on the overnight policy rate OPR at 1.75%. The policy feedback was immediately planned to solve market disturbance and financial market liquidity in March, but has recently shifted to reflect with global economic condition and low inflationary pressure. Next, BNM also announced other advantages for employees who lost their jobs and employees who provide a targeted loan payment, moratorium extension, as well as provision of repayment flexibility to borrowers affected by COVID-19. That's all from me. Thank you.
Okay, I will conclude for conclusion. In conclusion, the government has done various ways to sustain the country economy during the COVID-19 pandemic. Among them, the government has established partnership with private companies to house the public or anyone who is required to quarantine due to COVID-19. So the government does not have to spend big on quarantine center such as hall and hotel. Subsequently, the government strengthened diplomatic ties with regional countries such as China, United States, and Singapore. Last but not least, the government has drawn up National Recovery Plan for the needy such as Bantuan Prihatin Nasional or BPN, Bantuan Khas COVID-19 or BKC, and Bantuan Kehilangan Pendapatan or BKP. This can help people who are facing financial difficulties such as small trader and people who have lost their job. Thank you.